understand that if you do not have what I'm calling a AAA brand, your customers, your potential clients, they're looking at your brand and they're like, she a risk though. Her rating is lower, she's higher risk, right? Welcome to part 2 of a post that I did not too long ago that I was surprised that everybody wanted part 2 to. And that's essentially how I land 5-figure clients without sales calls or complicated tech. So I think so many of you don't recognize how much is out here for you, right? How much money is available for you and your business, and we tell ourselves stories and get all in our heads. We make things more complicated than it needs to be. This process has just been really amazing to me because it hasn't required funnels and it hasn't required sales calls at all. The way that I've been able to do this and the way that you've been able to do this is, instead of focusing on marketing tactics or all the other things that you commonly hear are really, really important for your brand, I've been focusing on building what I call a AAA brand. Okay? AAA brand, right? Courtney, what the heck is a AAA brand? This might have been 10 years ago because I remember this happened in college. So I went to school in Washington, D.C., and D.C., everything is, ran and funded by the federal government. And I remember when there was a shutdown situation. I remember basically the whole city of D.C. just shut down for a few days until Congress could figure out what to do. And so eventually Congress got it together and they were able, to pass legislation for a debt ceiling. The U.S. had been rated AAA since time immemorial, right? Since forever. We're the United States. We're a AAA rated country. They docked us. They rated us down. They were like, y'all ain't AAA no more. I forget what they said we were. Maybe we were AA. And I just remember it being a really big thing. And people are like, well, what does that have to do with anything? Well, when your rating gets lower, it means you're higher risk, right? So the lower your rating, the higher your risk. And so I remember, the president at the time and all these Congress people were so upset because they're like, that has real world implications, right? You lower our rating, we're gonna have to pay more in terms of interest. When we borrow money from other countries, we're gonna be seen as higher risk. Your brand is essentially the same way. And while there's no agency that literally rates, your coaching business or your brand as AAA, understand that if you do not have what I'm calling a AAA brand, and we're gonna go over that in a little bit, your customers, your potential clients, they're looking at your brand and they're like, she a risk though. Her rating is lower, she's higher risk, right? Clients are paying me multi-5 figures off of some Instagram DMs because I've worked on getting my rating high. I've worked on building a AAA rated brand. In order to have a AAA brand, the first thing that you want to focus on is authority. That's the first A in your AAA brand. And authority is really important because when you're trying to increase your profitability, right, it's a formula. And that formula is actually visibility plus authority equals profitability. Visibility plus authority equals profitability. That's why authority is so important, because it directly factors in to how much profit you're going to be able to increase in your business. The problem is most people dump all their money into visibility, right? Tens and tens of thousands of dollars in Facebook ads and Instagram this, and everybody wants visibility, everybody wants followers, right? Not realizing if you don't have that authority, it's still not gonna lead to profitability, right? Why? Well, because I feel like my toddler, because he's always like, because, mom, why this? Because. Visibility allows them to see you, but authority allows them to trust you. And when they can see you and they trust you, well, by golly, they'll pay you. Look at that. You're spending all this money to get people to see you, but you're not spending any money whatsoever to get people to trust you. We use the word authority, but let's talk about what is authority actually. What does that mean? Well, the answer is literally right in the word, is to be an author. An author is someone who writes stories. But notice I didn't say storyteller, they're a story writer. You're not an author if nothing has been written. This is so important, and this is a huge mistake that I see a lot of up-and-coming coaches make, but even just people who are trying to build a personal brand with some level of visibility online. They think they're sharing their story, but they're not. They're just telling what happened to them, okay? And telling what happened to you is not sharing your story, that's simply sharing your circumstances, okay? Your story does not become your story until you write it. You might not have had a choice of your beginning, where you started, and you might not have even had a choice where you are now, but you do have a choice of your ending, where you're going. And at the end of the day, if you call yourself a coach, people are hiring you not to share information or what you know. They're essentially hiring you to help them write their own success story. But guess what? We're not gonna hire someone to help us write our success story if they have not written their success story themselves. So you wanna ask yourself, are you sharing your circumstances or are you sharing your story? You have to be able to look at your circumstances, look at what has happened to you, and organize it in a coherent narrative, something that lets people feel like, oh, I can trust this person to help me as I'm writing my own success story, because when I hear theirs, I see that they have done it for themselves. That's when people trust you. That's when you become the author of your own story and the author of your business, and that's what gives you authority. The next A that we're talking about in your AAA rated brand, you want to make sure that your story is in alignment. Alignment. And what I mean when I say it's important that your story is in alignment, it's important that what you say lines up with what you sell, okay? What you say has got to line up with what you sell. Don't be selling no results that ain't a part of your story, okay? That aren't lined up with what you sell, truly, right? Because everybody is in such a competitive mindset, comparison, they have such a hard time standing out from the crowd, people feel compelled that they have to sell things that are out of alignment with what they're saying, right? So maybe this is you. And then what you say needs to line up with what you sell. They all have to be in alignment. Whatever story you tell yourself as to why you're not where you are yet, you're not realizing that there is gold in what you do have and what you are able to sell and where you are. You just have to learn how to position it in such a way, right? I have clients right now who are hitting multi 5 figures and 6 figures just by going internal and learning how to excavate what is it that they truly have that is truly in alignment with that story, and that story is in alignment with what they say, and what they say is in alignment with what they sell, right? So people don't just buy what you know, they buy who you are. And so this alignment piece is so important. The next A is authenticity. Authenticity, okay? All right. And so again, we're moving it, and that even though your story is really important for all the reasons that I just said, it's not enough to have your story. You also have to have your signature, okay? You have to learn how to translate your story into your signature. What is a signature? Well, one, it's the thing that identifies you, but 2, it's the thing that makes you one of a kind. Incomparable, right? And I feel like this is so important because so many people are telling you, you need to tell your story, but they're not teaching you how to tell your signature story. So many people are telling you, well, you need to build a brand, but they're not teaching you how to build a signature brand. So many people are telling you, you need to come up with programs, you need to have your offers, but they're not telling you how to have a signature offer. Even when they use the words signature offer, I'm gonna show you how to make your signature offer. Essentially, they teach you how to create a program that sells and teaches and is marketed the exact same way that everybody else is doing it. What's signature about that? What's signature about that? By definition, a signature story, a signature brand, and a signature offer should be one of a kind. It should be your specialty. It should literally be something that people have to go through you in order to get to. Not only that, it eliminates the need to have a lot of followers. This is huge, right? So again, I have a client right now who's already crossed 200K in a little over 6 months of working together. And I don't even think she has 3,000 followers on Instagram. Other clients who are consistently landing 5-figure deals, 5-figure clients, high 4-figure clients, doesn't even have 3,000 followers, right? And so I just put that out there because people are like, easy for you to say, you ain't got a bunch of followers on Instagram and YouTube and da-da-da. And I'm telling you, this piece right here, this authenticity piece, but particularly the signature piece, eliminates the need to have a lot of followers. Why? This is why. Actually, let's have a little audience participation, okay? How many followers do you have? Those of you who have felt like, I need more followers, go ahead and put in the comments. I want to see some numbers. How many followers do you have that you feel are not enough? 1027, 650, 600. All you're like, this is not enough, right? Some of y'all got some. 11K, girl. Okay. What do all these numbers have in common? Anybody want to guess? What do all these numbers have in common? All of y'all who are like, it's not enough. It's not enough. What do all of them have in common? Basic first grade math, right? Even less than that, I'm teaching my toddler this. All these numbers are greater than 1. All of these numbers are greater than 1. That means it doesn't matter if you have 165 people following you or 1,065 people following you. It means you have more people following you than there is you in this world, right? That's why I don't trip. I'm like, hey, guess what? My gift is rarer than your money. I ain't worried about it, right? If it's not you, that's fine. If you're not interested in joining me at this, that's okay. Because I know what I have is rarer, right? My gift is rarer than your money, and so is yours. Your gift, your talent, your signature in this world is rarer than their money, okay? Because there's only one of you, and there's a whole lot of them. Side note, this is good information even for those of you who are in the dating market here, right? I see too many women, get upset because they're not everybody's cup of tea. Doesn't matter. If there's only 2 of them that want you, there's only one of you, right? You can drive the price up, because that's what happens. When there's one of something that a lot of people want, what happens? The price goes up. And if there's 2 people today that wanted it, and you got 5 people that want it tomorrow, today's price is not yesterday's price. You feel me? Okay. So remember, AAA brand, you need authority, which means you need to be the author of something. You got to write that story. You can't just tell it. Alignment. What you say has to be in alignment with what you sell. And authenticity. Gotta have that signature, because your gift is rarer than their money. Once you have all of these 3 things and they're in alignment, that makes you magnetic. And there's more. There's levels to this, right? That's why I'm covering it in my Magnetic Marketing Mastermind, which starts Monday. I'm really excited about. So those of you who have been waiting for an opportunity to coach with me, and you've wanted an opportunity to coach with me that's not 5 figures, this is your opportunity. So I have 8 spots. 3 are still available. 5 have already been taken. So if you're interested, you can go to CourtneyLSanders.com/magnetic, or you can just send me a DM. You will need to apply just because I only want to accept people that I know can take this information and run with it and can, really leverage their business with it. So go ahead and apply. But if you apply and you're approved, you'll have an opportunity to jump and get started. If you don't want to do the full 8 weeks with me, or maybe this isn't the right time for you to join Magnetic Marketing, I'm also coming out with a 5-day challenge just on how to craft that signature offer that's truly signature. So this is we're in the super preliminary stages of this, but the challenge is going to be taking place the first week in December. Go ahead and send me a DM and I'll send that link to you as well, and you can get pre-registered for that challenge when it happens so that you can get what you need to make sure that you create a signature offer. But with that, I hope you enjoyed this. Go forth and create AAA rated brands. Bye.